Hunter's deeper voice makes him sound smarter, that's the thing.
You've got like a posh British accent, though.
I don't have a posh British accent.
Yeah, that just makes him sound stuck up.
How do I? I'm 2 steps away from saying in it, mate. Whenever people hear my voice, they don't go, oh, he sounds awful. He sounds awfully posh. It's, hey, look at you, you're British, innit? Fish and chips, am I right? Way. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the HGO podcast. I'm your host for today, Ethan, and as always, I'm joined with the guys, Hunter and Kyle. You doing all right, guys?
Doing great.
Just swell.
This is gonna go great. You're in for a treat because we've had like every technical issue under the sun. Kyle's webcam, we're leaving it as it is. He seems dim. I don't know about you, Hunter, but to me, he looks like he's like, you know when your console goes in standby mode a bit, where it darkens the screen a little bit before going fully off. That's what you look like.
I can't tell you the number of times I'll just nudge my controller, even though I'm not actually doing anything with it, because that annoys me.
Yeah, right. Okay. Random side thing. Have you ever had it, Hunter, especially with the PS5 controller, where you've not even touched it, you've just moved around it, and it's like, I have sensed your presence, I am lighting the screen up. I'm like, how the... what witchcraft is this? Like, I didn't even touch it. There were no vibrations. How does this work?
The microphone detected you or something.
I'm like, witchcraft, dude, get back. I don't know how this works. But no, welcome back to the HGO podcast, where we occasionally talk about video games. They're coming up this week. We're going to finally give you a long-awaited fantasy draft update. We wanted everyone to be here, but Jack and Sam do not exist, so we're going to do it alone. And then they'll probably find out about it if they watch this video, so there you go. But we're going to talk about the best games that have come out so far in 2021, have a little conversation about all that, talk about the Fantasy Critic standings, what is yet to come as well, I guess. We'll talk about those in the second half. And then we'll wrap it up with what we've been playing, like we usually do. So yeah, you're in for a very special episode indeed. But yeah, this is HGO podcast. Every Monday we come together to talk about everything that we love in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services, etc., etc. And yeah, quick housekeeping. We've apparently got content coming out in the next week or so. We've got
Hooray.
2 videos that are privated that still need to talk to you, Kyle, about that second one, because we got off track. I was supposed to talk about it before the podcast, but we went on like 6 million tangents off the episode. We've got like enough. We genuinely do have like we've got like a blooper reel that's pretty good. We might keep that in the storage. But we've got that. Kane's made a video, which that's a shock of the century. Even we didn't see it coming. He was talking about making a video to me in the DMs earlier this week. Yesterday even. And he was like, it's up. I'm like, cool. And I checked his channel. I'm like, no, it's not. And he's like, oh, no, I'm like, oh, it's on our channel. Oh, wow. People make content when I don't ask them. That's crazy. So yeah, look forward to that. Got my Ratchet review. We'll get it done. I'm a bit busy this week, but hopefully it'll be either end of next week at the latest, I promise. Sorry, my schedule's been a bit weird the past couple of weeks. But yeah, shall we just get into it? Shall we just get into the fantasy draft and where it is, the standings?
Let's do it.
For those of you who weren't here in January, we've been doing all year, we're doing this Fantasy Critic draft where we are basically playing fantasy football, but instead of being football teams, we are publishers and we are drafting video games, which is a very hard challenge in 2021. And the goal is to get the most points by getting the best Open Critic scores out of everybody. And we've been doing it since January. So if you haven't checked the first episode out, link in the cards up there. There we go. I'll remember to do it.
Go watch it.
It's a good episode. It's a lot of fun.
It was a fun episode.
It's a lot of fun. We do some wacky stuff like we play Smash. We have AI play Smash to decide who goes first, and we have a massive conversation. There's some interesting picks which we're going to go into.
And you get to see how hopeful we all were at the start of the
year. Okay, that was a bit of a lag, but it's fine. We'll work with it. But yeah, it's funny because we were sitting there going, God of War won't make it, and then Sony's like, neither will Horizon, gee, as they skip away, not being like, you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Hey, it hasn't been confirmed that we're not getting it.
No, just the little Jason Schreier has said it, but we're still waiting on Sony. But yeah, so now with the power of movie magic, we are going to swap and watch this. Wow, it's a different layout. Wow, Loki. We're here at the Fantasy Critic. If you go to bit.ly/HGO League, by the way, you can watch this and it updates automatically. You can check in. Hey, leave us a follow on the page as well. Make an account and leave a follow. If we get followers, it'll make us look like we're more popular than we actually are because hardly anyone gets followers on this thing. So I think if everyone makes an alt and follows, we could be like in the top 5 fantasy leagues of the year. That'd be great.
I didn't even know you could follow people on this.
Yeah, we could be up there with Easy Allies and Kind of Funny if like 10 people follow us. So please do that. We would really appreciate it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know, right? Wouldn't that be great? But this is how it's standing so far. I've shown the scores already as it is, but basically the way this podcast is going to go is we're going to run down everybody's things. We're going to talk about the games that we've played, games that we haven't. If we think that they scored too high, too low, what we think about them all together, and we'll take it from there. It's as simple as that. Do you want to start or end with the standings? Because they're here now. Shall we just talk about where everyone is at the moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Right. So
Sounds
far, Jack is currently in points actual is currently in last place. I thought points projected. You and Jack are really close at the moment.
Yeah, that's because apparently Fantasy Critic doesn't think that Deathloop or Metroid are gonna do well.
Yeah, it's a very weird system. But anyway, Jack has currently only got 13 points with 2 released games and is expecting 8. That's the standard that we're going for at the moment. Hunter is a bit higher with basically 31 points with 5 games released. Still expecting 7. Kyle is in third with a 53.46 points with 5 released games. So doing a bit, and 7 expected. So he's doing a bit better than you, Hunter. You've got some catching up to do apparently.
Yeah.
In second place is Samuel Front-Loaded Baxon over here with 65.9 points with 7 released games and 3 still to come. So don't worry, his score will change unless he miraculously finds some more games that we haven't found yet and puts them in his league at last minute. And then finally, currently, I'm in first with 79.26 points with 5 released, 9 expected. We also have our budgets there. You can see that's how much money we have left to spend. I don't think it matters at this point because if there's one game, I feel like Hunter's just going to claim it. Or Sam will claim it if he remembers to log in. It'll be like, if Nintendo has a sneaky direct and they announce something that's still yet to come this year, Hunter will be like, "Oh, let me just put $85 on it so that no one can get it." Simple stonks.
Oh man, dude, when the Dead Space rumor was going on, it was hard to know whether it was going to be like surprise it's going to be out this year or what it's going to be is a future release. I was ready to be like, all right, bid one above what Ethan's max budget is because that's totally the thing that he would try to screw me on.
How dare you? I wouldn't take Dead Space because I would not think it would come this year, even if they said it was coming this year. I would not believe them in the slightest. But no, so that's what the overall standards are. As you can see, the upcoming games are still here to come. We'll probably talk about them as we go along instead of talking about these because you can keep up to date though. If you head on over to the league, the link will be in the description. You can favorite it, hey, follow it, and then if you're always wondering, hey, I wonder how they're doing instead of the biannual updates, you can be like, oh yeah, let's go and check in and see how terrible Jack's still doing because all of his games keep getting delayed. You can do that.
Poor Jack.
So the way that we're going to do it is we're going to do it in pick order. So we're going to start with Sam's order. We're going to Sam's draft, go over to you, Hunter, then we'll do you, Kyle, Jack, and then we'll finish it off with me down here. And that's how it's going to roll. It's as simple as that. Let's start off with Sam then. His first pick was a good pick. I think we all wanted this, so he got it.
That was definitely one of the big 3 or 4 picks to grab first round.
Definitely. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart scored an 88 on Metacritic. Very good. Especially for a Ratchet & Clank game. Ratchet & Clank games don't usually score this high, so very good. I don't know if it was just PS5 launch bias. I think it's in part. Obviously, our review hasn't gone up yet. It's a great game. I loved it. But I don't think it's... I don't know if... Because it's just a Ratchet & Clank game. I don't know if it's like... I don't know where I'd stick it. What about you, Hunter? You've played this video game.
So it's hard to really define what these numbers mean to me because there are a lot of games later that are lower than I would say they should be. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was pretty solid. Like, I expected it to get upper 80s, and I mean, I can't really think of anything that was necessarily wrong with it, and it was
Oh no,
fun.
well,
also,
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna. I also haven't thought about it that much since beating it.
yeah, that's
So,
my thing. Was I was really looking forward to playing it, and then I played it, and I was like, cool, and it was like in and out within like a space of 4 days, and I haven't thought about it since.
Yeah, I beat it the weekend it came out, and haven't thought about it since.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the biggest thing with Rack is that it was touted as the big next gen platformer. So my question is, guys, does it, to you two who have played it, does the game feel next gen? Or is this something that could have been done on last gen, PS4, Switch era?
It's what defines a generation of platformer. That's what I'd say, is because from a gameplay perspective, it is very much like previous Ratchet and Clanks, because platformers hardly change in their form. Mario Odyssey, at the end of the day, is a very refined set of moves that were initially based on Mario 64's moveset. It's not like there's been a redefining of movement. It feels nicer, it's smoother.
Yeah, like, there's certain things that, yeah, it would be harder to do on the previous generation, like they're hot swapping between
the
worlds
rifts,
and
yeah,
stuff.
the hot swapping of rifts is probably the.
I feel like with a bit of cleverness, you could have worked around that, really.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah.
It's not like it was as vital as the marketing might have made you believe it would be.
Literally, the one set piece that you've all seen in that start trailer, where it's Ratchet going from world to world to world to world, that's the only time in the game where that happens, where it hot swaps so quickly. That is literally the only time that ever happens. There's some cool moments, and there's some cool trickery. I think the real trickery is in the little rift, like the little solo rifts that you can go into, where it's just a world you can just walk in and out of.
Pocket dimensions.
Yeah, the pocket dimensions. That's probably the cool factor, where it's like, oh yeah, there's just another. I don't think they would be as big or work as well if they were on last gen. I think there are definitely parts to it, and it looks gorgeous. Like, it looks next gen.
Yeah, for sure.
And it has the positives of this current generation, which Xbox and PlayStation had, which is you've had your 4K option, or you've had your 60 FPS options. So it definitely feels like the choices are there, but it's one of those things where it's like, what constitutes as next gen for platformers? That's my thing, is when it comes to like, when the next GT, like, looks as what a one thing, but platformers don't change on a gameplay basis, really. If it's a good platform, it's a good platformer. Platformers always hold up, in my opinion.
Yeah, like,
you can go and play a good platformer on the PlayStation 1 and go, oh, this is still a good platformer. Which is why I always, like, with Mario 64, I'm like, it's not that great because it feels like it's old.
Like, yeah, like Celeste, for example, was made in 2018, and that game feels like probably as fine as any of the other platformers that were good back in the day.
You know? Right.
100%. But no, it looks pretty. It looks gorgeous. The performances are great. For a Ratchet and Clank story, it's pretty decent. Because most of them don't really have one. I think it's not as good.
My only frame of reference is the 2016 game, so
which has a terrible story. Yeah,
I like the story in this one quite a bit more.
Yeah, the story's great. I still think Crack in Time is my favorite Ratchet and Clank game. I think that Rift Apart is the best Ratchet and Clank game. Just from the way it looks to the way it plays and just the whole experience of it. But I don't know, like, constitutes as next gen. I really hate this topic because it's as if people are like, oh, new hardware, that means instant change. It's like, oh, that's it. It's instant changes here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's like, no, it isn't.
It's not like last gen had that instant change either. Like,
no, and the game that kind of revolutionized a genre that came out at that time was Breath of the Wild, the thing on the potato. That is less powerful than a PS4. So I don't know.
The only early last gen game that you couldn't have done on a PS3, it was like Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system, I believe, was said to be too hard to do.
Which I call absolute bullshit on, by the way. Absolute bullshit.
Hey man, I'm not a video
marketing
game
crap,
designer, so I don't.
But no, like, to me, that next gen moment. Honestly, and I shit you not, the next gen moment for me has and will always be when people are like, oh, this is next gen, was Astro's Playroom. No joke. That to me was, shit,
Astro's
this is
Playroom
next gen.
Nice.
Because it looked nice, it ran at 60, and the controller did some weird wacky shit where I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, man. And same with Miles, where Miles just playing Spider-Man, after playing the PS4 Spider-Man at 30 and going, yeah, this is fine, and then having the frame rate doubled and just it looking nicer and it running at 1440p and it just basically running fluid and instant loading and just having it feel like a whole new game just because of the frame rate being good is like, that was like a moment. And the same with Ratchet. But the thing with Ratchet was I haven't played Ratchet PS4 in like 5 years, so it was like I don't remember playing a 30 FPS Ratchet game. So as soon as I'm in that 60 mode, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. But I didn't really toy with the 30 or anything like that. But I think it deserves the praise. And Insomniac, say what you want about Insomniac if you don't like Ratchet or whatever. They've pulled their fucking weight for the PS5 launch. Like, they have shown up.
Though.
They are the studio that has shown up this year for Sony, especially with, as we'll get into, maybe Horizon not even making it. Both Insomniac and thingy that made Returnal, Housemarque, really have pulled forward for Sony at least and had them show something. Anyway, we won't talk about this long for all of them, but I guess we will be talking a bit about this next one. Guilty Gear Strive got an 85. Good pick. What I personally thought was an early pick. I thought Guilty Gear was picked rather early. If I was Sam, I would have picked another game over this because I feel like this is one that only really Kyle was gunning for. Maybe Jack if he had heard of the new one coming out. But what do you think? 85? I think good score. I think that's respectable.
That's fair for this game, considering the audience that it hit, like well outside of just the fighting game community. Yeah, I'd say 85 is fair.
Mm-hmm. I think it sits well. People have been saying great things about it. People have been loving it, and I think 85 sits. It's a good place to sit. Can't complain. Next one, Bravely Default 2, 78. I was surprised that this got 78.
About this game is that Sam passed on Monster Hunter to pick this one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's it.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. But Bravely Default 2 was an interesting one to me because I thought this would score higher when he picked it. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is an easy low 80, mid 80. And here it is at 78. And this was one of the first games where I was like, one, I forgot this came out this year. But two, I was like, man, this game just didn't hit, really. Like, has anyone heard anything about Bravely Default 2?
Not since it came out.
Yeah.
You see, I think the fact that I constantly forgot about Bravely Second existing kind of made me think that, oh man, maybe this isn't going to be as great a pick as Sam thought it might be. Because the thing I always heard about even the first Bravely Default was it was a really good game until it didn't end. And it seems like they just kind of stuck to a little too rigidly to the classic RPG thing, perhaps.
Potentially. But no, hey, there you go. Only 8 points for that one. Then Sam has a load of games that haven't released yet. But I will say this.
They're all dated, I'm pretty sure.
They're all dated. Sam is the only person where I believe all 7 of his original draft picks will be coming out this year. I think Sam is so far the only person to actually have that. He has not dropped any of his draft picks. So far.
And I foresee Psychonauts and Back 4 Blood both coming out. I wouldn't be shocked if Axiom Verge got pushed.
Yeah, Axiom Verge might still shift, but Back 4 Blood's definitely coming out, and Psychonauts is out this month, so it's definitely coming out.
Oh, it is. Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, it's finally here. Psychonauts 2, Back 4 Blood, Axiom Verge, all probably coming out. Where do you think they'll land? At this stage, I feel like if Axiom Verge, I feel we'll get an 80 at least, probably. I'd say all of these maybe get an 80.
I can't remember.
Low to mid 80s, yeah.
Axiom, I remember hearing a bit of buzz about the first one when it came out, but I can't remember what it did critically quite.
Neither do I.
I could see it landing in a mid 80 just because I've heard nice things about the other one.
Yeah, same. I think Psychonauts will again please the Psychonauts audience, and Double Fine always has I don't know if it's always a good thing, but their games aren't ever really financially successful, but they're always critically loved for the most part. So I think Psychonauts 2 will probably be a mid-80s game, low 80 minimum. If that game gets a 70 odd, I will be shocked. That will be one where I'm like, oh fuck, that game missed. Back 4 Blood, I can see it getting an 85. I can also very easily see it getting a 76 or a 75. I can very easily see that game being like, yeah, it's Left 4 Dead and it's not as good, and maybe there's some problems with the battle pass systems or whatever. That one's an interesting one. But hey, we'll see where those 3 games land. Those are the only 3 upcoming games that Sam has left. He hasn't picked any other fucking games in months, so don't worry. We'll move on.
He tried to after E3, but
yeah, he tried to, but we'll talk about that later.
The voting didn't pan out for him.
We'll talk about bids and stuff like that later. We can get them up. It'll be funny.
I still feel really bad about one I took from him.
No, I don't. He tried to steal.
We'll deal with it.
He tried to steal from me, and I don't appreciate it. This guy is 6. Got a 73. This was Jack's counter pick, so he only lost 3 points on this. Good counter pick.
Mm-hmm.
Good counter pick. And I just think bad pick from Sam. Good counter pick for Jack. As simple as.
I haven't heard anything about this game.
Neither have I.
There were trailers coming out, and then it dropped, and then I never heard about it again.
This guy has one of those RPG series that I always kind of hear its name or like scroll past it in sales, but I never actually like look at.
Yeah.
I remember Jack saying that it looked like a mobile game, and I was like, he might be onto something.
It does.
So there you go. Little Nightmares 2 was a stealth pick. That was such a good pick at the start of the year. He just picked it up like the week of, and it got an 83. So
yeah, he
good
did it
pick.
Like the same week that we started the thing.
And I don't think he put money on it.
And Cyber Shadow.
I don't think he put money on it. And Cyber Shadow, 2 really good picks right there. Can't complain about either of those, and I think they landed where they probably deserved.
Yeah.
Biomutant was an interesting one. Lost points. Is that the only game to lose points in this entire draft so far? I think it is for the person.
Far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddworld, I think, dipped under 70 for a minute, but it went back.
We'll get to Oddworld. We'll get to Oddworld.
Poor fucking Oddworld.
We'll get to Oddworld. But my Biomutant was an interesting one because I remember looking at Biomutant and going, yeah, I'll probably do like a 70 on. Like I was like mid 70s. That game really underperformed. Like that game seemed to be really hit or miss with people. So
apparently there were like performance issues or something with it that held it back, is what I think I remember.
But the Nintendo games get a free pass. I see how it is. I see how.
Well, yeah. You got to add the Nintendo 10, dude.
The Nintendo 10. I like it. The Nintendo 10, dude. I like it. Let's do it. But yeah, and that rounds out Sam's list at 66 points so far. Most of his lineups come out. We'll see if he actually adds anything to like the rest of it. But anyway, moving on. Hunter, it's your time to shine. You can walk us through your list because you're here.
Boy.
So go on, play by play.
All right. So my first pick was The Legend of.
A process.
Oh man! So my first pick was The Legend of Zelda, which isn't coming out this year, but it's gonna stay on my list until I decide that I need that final slot because it's funny.
Yep.
After that was The Medium, which I knew was rolling the dice a little bit, but who knows? Maybe the PlayStation version will boost it.
I feel like the game really
or potentially, yeah, probably.
I think I when you picked The Medium, I thought that it would be like a high 70, low 80. I didn't think it would be mid 70s.
Especially with the tone the trailers were going with, I wanted to believe that it could be a little taste of maybe what I've been missing from the absence of Silent Hill, but the critics don't seem to agree. Yeah,
it was a very interesting. Like, honestly, that is one of my shocks. We'll get to some more shocks, but that genuinely was one of the shocks, and it was one of the first games to come out as well. And we were like, "Fuck, damn!" Like that was a bad.
Yeah, it feels bad, man.
We should probably explain. Anything the average game on Fantasy Critic that people draft, the average score is usually 77. So if you get more than a 77, you're pretty much in the clear. You're beating the average on the scores wise. If it's below 77, you've underperformed. Is usually the way that it kind of works out. So we'll get to another one in a second. Your next one that scored, I think, got a really fucking harsh bat as well. Anyway,
I know, right? After that's No More Heroes 3. I like.
Does it come out this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's coming out in August.
Would you be? Here's the thing, though. No More Heroes 3 is 100% a game to me where I can see them 2 weeks before release pushing it. I can 100% see them doing it.
Get that bad juju out of this air.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna come out.
Will it be good though?
Solid.
Will it be good?
Yes.
Because
I believe that I will.
No More Heroes.
I believe that I think it'll be good. At this point, who knows what the critics will believe, because
all
I think they're smoking something
I think
this
I'll
year.
have fun with it.
All I'm gonna say is when I watched that trailer, all I saw was a game that didn't look visually that good and ran a bit shit. I really hope that that game runs a bit better. That's all I'm saying, because otherwise you're going to have another medium on your hands and it's going to get like a 72 and they're going to be like, it's a great game, but it runs like poo, and because it's not an actual Nintendo, like, first-party big ball release, they're not going to give the Nintendo 10 points.
If this is the one Nintendo game that doesn't get the bonus points because it's not like a first-party game, that'll be upsetting.
Yeah, it won't.
But then after that is Deathloop, which I think will do very solid on reviews. I wouldn't be shocked if it was like an upper 80.
Upper 80? I don't think it's going to get an upper 80. I don't think it's
mid to upper 80.
I think mid 80. I don't know what it is about this game, but I was all in on trailer number 1, and the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, this game, I don't know anymore. I thought it was going to be like Returnal, where it's like a roguelike and you have this whole map to explore and you have to assassinate all 8 of them in a single loop or else you get reset. And it's not that, so I'm like, who knows? Will the critic... That's the thing, is...
Will putting your feelings aside, I've not heard anyone else say that kind of thing, so...
Well,
I don't know. I think that people will still like it.
They're all shills. What was that Boobadoo? Was that Cal muting his mic?
I don't know. Maybe. He might have left the stream.
Oh, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
He doesn't want to look at my face anymore. It's really tragic. Or it's for his
After
internet
Deathloop
sake.
is Chris Tales,
I'll just use my imagination.
Okay.
After Deathloop is Chris Tales, which, again, once I finish this game, I'm going to believe with 100% certainty that it got lowballed. But right now, it's just up in the air I played more of it earlier, and I liked it a lot. Still.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Open Critic, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, look at this. 64% of critics recommend. Like, what? Like, PC Gamer, Alistair Jones, 57. What you doing, Alistair? Come on here, dude. Come on.
Dude.
Have a heart.
Also, looking at the reviews for this made me, like, analyze how Open Critic does their thing. It's not even every review that gets factors. It's only the top critics. So, like, apparently some people's opinions hold more weight. So there are just some 9 out of 10 reviews that aren't counting towards its score.
Yo,
Outstanding.
Open Critic, how do we get top big ball review?
I don't understand. Like, why does that matter for an aggregation site? Is what I don't understand. Like I was just rating. If I make a review and then Kyle makes a review, as far as Metacritic is concerned or any other aggregation, I don't think that whose review matters really.
Yeah, it seems
just look at the number.
But yeah, that game's definitely been lowballed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
After that, there's 12 minutes, which I think will be good. It's very up in the air whether the critics like the or it's very up in the air whether the narrative-based like indie games hit with critics. Like, if they're really good, they tend to do pretty solid. Like, Edith Finch got like an 87.
Yeah.
And I can see 12 minutes achieving that sort of thing. So that'll be nice.
It'll be interesting. Like, I think it's an interesting premise. I'm just thinking, again, from like a game standpoint, I just wonder how this will do with critics, because I feel like this game looked cool, and then obviously they have now the celebrity cast of Daisy Ridley and gosh, who was it? I always forget his name. James McAvoy. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
I know who Willem Dafoe is, Hunter. I know who Willem Dafoe is. I'm trying to.
I was just listing out the other ones.
I know
that way I didn't feel excluded. Okay.
No, let Willem feel. Make Willem feel like an outcast for once. But I don't know. Like, it's got big names behind it, and I just don't know. Like, we've seen hardly anything gameplay wise. And I'm just like, is this just going to be a narrative puzzle game where everyone's like, yeah, it's got a cool cast and it's got a cool premise, but it's this most basic fucking puzzle game ever, and it's like just I
used Edith Finch as my example, and sometimes people like those because Edith Finch didn't really have that much for you to do besides walk into rooms and experience flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it'll be interesting.
People might still like it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one plays. I think that's one to watch. If we're gonna put money on like ones to watch, guys, keep that one on your radar. 12 minutes is definitely one of them because I think that's either gonna be one of the Game of the Year contenders or it's gonna really underperform and everyone's gonna be like, "What happened? Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!" Anyway,
after that, there's Solar Ash, which I could see getting like an 85. I think that's around what Hyper Light Drifter. God, it looks cool from the trailers I've seen. Like sorry.
Choking on Hyperlight Drift.
Like the trailers I've seen, the movement in that game looks real fun,
and
it's got a cool like visual style. So I believe that will do solid.
You have Imposter Factory. Is that coming out this year?
I wouldn't. I don't know at this point.
Date September 2021 estimated. It still doesn't have an actual date.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out last year, so I figured he'd be able to get it out this year, but who knows anymore.
You know what is coming out this year?
Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread.
My best pick of this silly game.
Still,
Hunter's Magic Game that he's developing himself at Nintendo.
And yeah, Metroid is historically like a critical darling, so this will do good for my score.
How up your own arse are you to make you go, oh, it's a critical darling? You're talking about your own video game that you're making at Nintendo.
The got like an 87.
You willed this into existence. You've been making this for 6 months to spite us, and you're like, Metroid's a critical darling, and I'm so good at what I'm doing that I'm just gonna get a high 80 right here.
Metroid constantly, maybe not the most commercial success, but
it does terribly commercially.
Yeah, but it is definitely loved amongst people who play games and play them. So I feel it do well for my score.
I should also very much specify Nintendo do not get on our backs. Hunter is not actually making Metroid Dread. I'm just going to put that out there. No NDAs have been broken, but
he is not the leaker.
He is not the leaker.
Anything. I just read.
He doesn't know anything, but he's making it on his own in his basement, and I'm very disappointed. Mario Golf, what a fucking letdown.
Mario Golf.
I know, right? Dude, I was going to settle for it landing at 75, but apparently more people reviewed it and it dropped again.
People didn't listen to me. People called me crazy. I said Mario Tennis was a pile of wank on Switch and no one listened. And then Mario Golf comes out and everyone's like, it'll be different this time, guys. This one will be good. And then it comes out and it's in the exact same condition where it's not finished and it's just fine. And it gets an even worse score because everyone's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I've given this a lower score because I bought it.
The irritating thing is I still stand by that it's better than tennis. So it having a lower score by like a substantial margin is super annoying.
Another Nintendo game where I feel like it came out and no one gave a shit. Like the tennis fans were like, tennis, let's go. And then everyone else was like, no. Oh yeah, golf. All the golf fans were like, yeah, golf, it's the same thing. And then what was I trying to say? And then it just came out and then no one cared. Like even the people that like Mario Golf were like,
yeah, like this was what I did in between like playthroughs of Scarlet Nexus, and so it was just kind of there. But
yeah,
I mean, I still enjoyed
it.
The next one on my list was another little stealth grab, and my best performing game, Emily is Away, keeping me in suspense for over a month.
He has this is his best game, by the way, and he has it on the basis of 5 critics. This is a sham. This is rigged. Get this off the website. Get this out of the draft. Put Hunter in last. This is bullshit.
Oh, dude, even if it...
Someone's jealous.
I'm not jealous at all, mate. I'm riding high. We'll get to me and my fucking sunglasses moment in a minute where I'm like, oh, I'm being blinded by all these high scores. I can't take it.
Yeah, Emily is Away is good. I think that's a good.
No, it was a good pick.
It.
I tried to pick this up, but I forgot to. So this was a very good. Actually, no, I didn't. I removed it. I had it like in my betting, like I had it in my list, and I removed it. I was like, But hey, I'm glad that it did well for someone at least.
Yeah, I played it and I thought it was good too. So there's that.
Then another anime game stumbles onto the scene with Tales of Arise that will be coming out in September. I assume that'll get an 80 at least.
Yeah,
like
mid 80, low to mid 80 probably.
And then Where the Heart Leads, you went on another indie game.
This was a narrative game that I was like, all right, so when people like these, if people like this, it'll get me at least 10, and that didn't pan out. You know, the funny thing is, like, narrative games have unless they're really good, have a certain ceiling. Like, I didn't realize this before, but like Life is Strange and what was the one last year? Tell Me Why only have like 81, 82. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Because like the talk I hear about that would lead me to believe that people would score it higher.
I'm very interested to see where we'll get to it.
Yeah.
True Colors lands.
I'll probably this is the only game on my list I haven't played yet as far as things that have released.
Fake fan. Fake video game fan.
Hey man, I've got to play games on
I've
other
played all of my
too.
games, guys.
No, he's a real fan. He actually picked up Mario Golf.
I gotta play games that are on other people's lists too. I gotta play Returnal for Jack. I gotta play Ratchet for Sam. I have to play Resident Evil for you. I'll get to this one eventually.
I played Resident Evil. I played all of my video games. I even played the ones that have been delayed. I'm that good.
Damn, dude.
But that's your list. You've got some solid picks coming up, Hunter. But I feel like you're in the position because you have this extra money. You know, you have the most money. Well, you have the second highest money, but you're in this position where if Nintendo puts out what they usually have a September Direct, it usually happens in September. If they sneak out a cheeky game near the end in like December, you're in that prime position to sweep it up. And like I feel
there are also games I'm like looking at, waiting to see like, will you have a date or not?
Yeah,
and then I will scoop them up. I have things that I'm looking or hoping will like be more concrete.
I think more games are going to start showing up in the fall, especially because all of these big games are being pushed. Like right now, I feel all you have your first-person juggernauts. So as always, you have your Battlefields and your CODs coming out as they usually do. Same time. Oh look, it's the fucking. You can set your clock to COD release set cycles. You're like, oh, it's that time of the year again because COD's here. But you know, because Horizon might be pushed, not confirmed. We'll get to it in literally 2 seconds. I feel like you might start seeing more indie games and more smaller games being like, oh yeah, we're gonna scooch into December because no one's showing up anymore. Like,
so I've got 3 slots that I feel like could be filled out with potentially good things, potentially things that I think will do better than they actually do.
You can even have 4 if you drop Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, 4 if I want to get rid of Breath of the Wild, but who knows? What will I sacrifice the meme?
Will you sacrifice the meme? That's a great question. Anyway, we're moving on to Peepo Industries with Kyle over here. Woo. Again, I'm going to pass you the mic.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, I'm going to pass you the mic. Kyle, this is you. Run us through.
I played the 5th.
No, you run us through your little roster that you have so far. You have some interesting picks. We'll get to it, especially in the latter half.
Alrighty. So, I started off my picks with Horizon Forbidden West. People really enjoyed the first Horizon video game, and I did not. But, you know, I'm like, you know, people like this. It's probably going to do well.
And it's definitely coming out this year.
And if Breath of the Wild doesn't come out this year, we've got... Forbidden West has a monopoly on the open world exploration genre this year.
It was... Right, I just want to say, if it is delayed, obviously, delay it to February, March, whenever... Give it a good release date, have it come out the way that it's intended, great. But if they've really fucked up not having this release, because not only is Breath of the Wild not moving, this is the year where Ubisoft has decided we don't make games anymore, and there's no Assassin's Creed coming out. There is no.
Okay, even if Assassin's Creed was out, Horizon would be better.
The reason that's not the reason I'm getting at here. The reason I'm getting at is it's free real estate, where the open world people that buy an open world game every year don't have their regular Assassin's Creed to roll back on. So they this game would have been even bigger than it had any right to be. You have Far Cry, but who's buying Far Cry? You played it already. You played it in Far Cry 3 because Far Cry 6 is Far Cry 5, which is Far Cry 4, which is Far Cry 3. We've played them all.
You carry the 1 and it's Far Cry 2.
Carry the 1, yeah.
I like that anytime we talk about Far Cry, it's just us saying that it's the same game over and over.
Fuck off, Ubisoft. Make some good games for once and stop having harassers as your fucking higher-ups. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you, Ubisoft. Go fuck yourselves. Anyway, Horizon. May or may not be coming out. Big boy Jason Schreier says it ain't coming out. And then Jeff Grubb, who said it might not come out, went, well, actually, I had heard it's not coming out. I just didn't want people to be pissed at me, so I said maybe. So, it's probably not coming out. Which is great, because it means the God of War's not coming out next year. So, it's fine, you know? It's
Oh, man, Suicide Pact Year 3.
And again.
So, anyways, right off the bat, my heavy hitter may or may not even be coming out. Who knows?
You say that. You've had some good scores. That's what I'll like. For example,
yeah, but Horizon was like my heaviest hitter.
Yeah, Horizon was like the one that.
I mean,
was like
new Pokemon Snap was your heavy hit.
It was his equivalent
like
of like the
first
Ratchet
round
and Clank one.
Yeah.
True, I guess.
Like in terms of first round gets, that was definitely top 3 with Breath of the Wild 2 and Ratchet.
True, but as we'll see, like the only people that have been successful with their first 2 picks have been me and Sam. We're the only two that our first most valued pick was actually worth a damn, because like I say, Horizon's probably not coming out. Breath of the Wild 2 ain't even coming out in 2022, never mind fucking this year. And Hollow Knight at this point is not coming out this year because it would have been announced by now, I think. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't feel bad that you've lost your heavy hitter, because I feel like 3 of the 5 heavy hitters didn't show up out of our list so far. And even games that have scored really high, like Emily is Away and stuff, were not necessarily top picks. They were things that people randomly picked up along the way, so I wouldn't feel too bad about it.
Well, no, that was one that I knew I didn't have to draft.
Yeah, I mean, same, but it's like...
I never even heard of it.
I knew about it just because of the kind of funny people, but otherwise I wouldn't have had any clue. But I wouldn't put yourself down too much, because most games haven't come out this year, if you haven't noticed. Like, every game under the sun has been delayed.
Oh no, I'm aware by how many games I've had to drop since the initial draft.
Like, we'll get to my list, but I'm like, my list I still think is looking strong, but I've dropped like 4 games, so it's like, it's not even like I've just been sitting here on a throne. I was like, I lost like 6 million racing games this year. What the fuck? But anyway, moving on. Scarlet Nexus, criminally robbed.
Yeah, this game got robbed, dude, and I will never forgive.
It should be like an 85 at least.
Honestly.
No, don't blame Open Critic. Let's name and shame. Let's go to the reviews. You
okay,
gave it a terrible
all right.
Yeah, Games Radar.
Whose kneecaps are we breaking?
What's 3.5 stars? That's 70%. Games Radar, what are you thinking? The Easy Allies, you're cool. You gave it an 8. We'll accept that. 8's the lowest. PC Gamer again. These PC people seem to hate video games, dude. That's all I'm saying.
If it's not their taxes, they don't care.
If it's not an Excel spreadsheet, they just don't want to play it.
If it's not Minesweeper, it's too complex.
GameSpot gave it a 7. Yeah, that's like... I find it funny because there's a load of places like, why does every branch of IGA get a fucking spot in the top critics?
I don't understand. It doesn't make sense.
But no, like, I think it was criminally robbed. Like, you've got scores that I think were a bit high. Like, someone gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I think that's a bit high, but
like, if nothing else, I'm willing to bet it's better than Pokemon Snap.
Oh, 100%.
I don't have
absolutely
Pokemon.
Better than Pokemon.
I don't have Pokemon Snap to go and scientifically compare this, and I'm too lazy to. So it's just kind of talking nonsense.
I feel like this should have landed like at an 84. That's why I probably would have put it.
Dude, my favorite part, we're gonna skip around a bit since we're talking about it now. My favorite part of the Pokemon Snap, if you go to the Open Critic link and you look at the summary, one of the plus points for it is nostalgic fun. Meaning we don't care about anything new. We just want what's old, and we just want the N64 game again.
I will give them one piece of props. They're releasing free DLC, which is more than I'd expect from a Pokemon game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I will give them one bit of prop. And I will give them props that for for a team that went in with the job of just give the fucking idiots another Pokemon Snap, the loony people that want to know, just make another one. They did the job, right? Like they didn't. It's not like it's like a shit version. It's just Pokemon Snap, and people that don't like Pokemon Snap just don't get it. We just don't get it, but it's fine.
It doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't. But
it's like a tech demo more than anything.
I have no problem with Pokemon Snap getting an 80. It's just other games getting a similar score and being like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
other games being lower is the offensive thing.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap definitely benefited from the Nintendo 10. Like,
yeah, genuinely.
Anyways, Nier Replicant.
Got
away. I feel like I cheated on this since it's basically just the original game again.
Don't worry, we'll get to it. We'll get to it later. But I have Doom 2 Resurrected, which is basically the exact same fucking thing.
You mean Diablo?
Diablo 2, not Doom 2. Diablo 2. Potato, you know, hell.
Yeah.
Hell demons.
Nier Replicant's one that I hope to play before the end of the year, but who knows when.
I'll pick it up when it's cheap and I feel like being sad, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not in the mood. And if I want to be sad, I'll go...
You could always just go and try and play Automata
I'm
again.
gonna... Yeah.
If you want to be sad, go play Persona 3.
Yeah, I'm planning on playing it. Don't get to that. Hey, if we keep going at this description, this will be the episode, and we'll talk about games as the bonus episode. We'll do 2 episodes this week. It'll be great. We'll just talk. We'll do like a little game. Stonks thinking with the head.
Stonks.
Anyways, I don't have anything to say about Nier. I didn't play it. I just grabbed it because I knew people liked Nier.
Eventually, I think it was a good pick. I think it was a sneaky pick.
I do too.
But you know what? You know what they say, Kyle. You know. The rules are set. If it's game, it's game. You know, it's not your fault. It's the Fantasy Critic's fault. You didn't do anything wrong, even though this was basically a remaster. They're the fucking idiots that said it was a remake. You didn't break any rules. You just played them. You just went into the casino. You rolled 777s. You're like, I'm fucking out. Screw you. You forgot to rig the machine. I'm out. Like, that's it. You cashed it. You cashed out and you walked away, and I respect it. Good pick. Ghostwire Tokyo though. I was scared. I've been scared about this all year. I genuinely have been scared about this all year because
this is another one I was hesitant on. It's like I knew so little about it when I actually took it. I just remember seeing it at was it E3 once, and I'm like, this looks cool. E3 or Game Awards or something.
And then it was and then it was at the PlayStation thing in a more substantial manner.
Yeah, I should specify that this was my counter pick, so Kyle can't drop it, and I got 0. Yeah, and I got 0 from it, which was good for me. But I'm not gonna lie, like, it was a risk because when I started this year, I was like, I don't think it's going to be as good as people think it is, so I put up my bets on it. And then the further this year's gone, it went less from I think it's not going to be good to God, I'm just praying this game gets delayed. Because I'm like, if this gets like an 80 odd, I'm just going to lose a shit ton of points. So yeah, because I still think it'll be good.
Like, yeah, I think it'll be good. I hope to see a little bit more of it before, like, before I put it on my thing for next time, you know.
That's honestly that's honestly why I knew that this game wasn't coming out, was because we saw it once, and also Deathloop was coming out in September, and I think I've said it time and time again. I'm fucking beating a dead horse at this point because I'm saying the exact same thing.
Stop! He's already dead.
I've said it like 6 million times where I've said, because as soon as Deathloop got pushed to September, I'm like, there's no way in hell they're releasing 2 Bethesda games in the span of a month. They're going to cannibalize each other, especially because they're PS5 exclusives. And I'm like, even Microsoft isn't dumb enough to send games over to their grave like that. Like, I mean, they did it with Rare, but it's been a while since they did that to Rare, so it's like, it just seemed like a stupid move. But I am sad that it's not come out because it was one of the more interesting releases coming out this year.
Oh,
it definitely had its own aesthetic.
Dude, especially, it was supposed to come out in like October. Be all nice and ready for spooky times.
They were confident as well. They announced October 2021 in like June 2020. They were like, we'll see you then, Chief.
Tango Gameworks likes their October release dates. They managed to get Evil Within 2 out October, Friday the 13th.
Nice. You know,
when that came out.
Like, no joke. How long do you think this game's been delayed for? Out of curiosity.
They said it's supposed to be early, but who knows? Like,
They say early. I believe it says.
Also, the term early is nebulous. For all we know, that means first 2-3 months of the year, first half of the year.
When people say early 2022, it's the same kind of terminology as launch title for a console. I'm like, okay, cool. See you within the first 6 to 8 months. We said early 2022, so we obviously meant July 17th. Thank you for your patience. And I'm like, yes, okay. It's very cool. It's like, it's so like, I'm a much bigger fan of when people like say what you want about Starfield, right? And we'll be having this conversation when we try and go for shit next year. Say what you want about Starfield, but the fact that they at least went all out and went, see you in 18 months, here's the exact fucking date. You'll see it then. Salut. I mean, it makes it even more hilarious when they miss it, because then
it's gonna be funny when they push it again.
You guys shot a target from like 6. Yeah, you fired an arrow at a target from like 6,000 meters and you missed it by like a mile.
It'd be like if Metroid Dread got announced for next year after I had picked it.
Yeah. But no. Good pick anyway. Moving on. Neo.
Good pick for a game that's not coming out.
Neo.
Anyways, Neo, The World Ends With You. Sequel to original World Ends With You. I don't know anything about these games. People like them. It got me 12 points.
It's Kingdom Hearts, isn't it? Sorry, I just wanted to really
Kingdom
annoy
Hearts
some World Ends With You fans. I just really wanted to. Guys, the sky is the same. It's connected. Kingdom Hearts 4 confirmed. We will be seeing them all there.
Did you know? Shibuya. It must be copying Persona.
Yeah, it's copying Persona 5.
Well, no, Shibuya's in Kingdom Hearts also.
Yeah. And
man, I can't believe Kingdom Hearts is copying Persona.
I can't believe it. And then I can't believe that girl from World Ends With You has a teddy bear, which obviously means Monokuma, which means Danganronpa is also a part of the Kingdom Hearts universe. Can't believe it.
Which is also copying Persona. Oh, man.
My God, I can't believe Sora's confirmed for Smash.
Persona has a film in it called Like a Dragon, which is Yakuza, which means that Yakuza's stealing from Kingdom Hearts. What the fuck? Anyway, I feel like that underperformed a little bit, because I heard a lot of good things.
Probably, yeah.
It seems like this is the year of JRPGs getting brutally murdered on stage.
I was expecting it to do like a couple points better.
This is kind of like where I expected it to fall. Like, World Ends With You, I feel, has always been kind of niche.
I mean, we're talking, like, I would have put it more at like an 83 than an 81. That's what I'm kind of saying.
Like
I'm not saying this should have been a 94. What the fuck, game of the century? Like, no, not happening.
101.
Yeah. But I think it
underperformed.
To me, it underperformed. A bit, just a small bit, but at the same time, you can't. It's an 81, right? It's above 77, as we've been saying. Can't complain. If it's above 77, you can't complain.
I mean, all of my picks have been above 77,
which is all you can really ask for, really.
Yeah. Anyways, Pokemon Snap, I begrudgingly accept 10 points for that.
I was like, I don't want it, but I'll take it.
I'm very upset that this game did so well. I mean, I'm happy, but like, I'm also really, really annoyed. Just looking at games that performed lower than it, namely Scarlet Nexus, but also that game got robbed, and I will never forgive people.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, upcoming games. You got Skatebird.
Skatebird, yes.
Got pushed back a month apparently.
Oh, did it?
Oh well.
Yeah. Well.
Didn't even notice.
That'll be an interesting one to see how it does.
I just picked up this game because I wanted to have some fun with my draft.
I think it'll be an Emily's
cute.
I think it'll be an Emily's away situation where hopefully it gets enough reviews for the Open Critic to get a score, or else you're going to be emailing them furiously like Hunter was with Emily's Way.
Oh,
like, there's 4 reviews. Give me the score.
Blaster Master, when we get to it, almost didn't get enough reviews.
The funny thing about it is that like Fantasy Critic assigned that 84 by like calculating it itself, because on Open Critic, Emily's Away still doesn't like have a score.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So then I picked up Life is Strange: True Colors, a game that I thought Ethan and Hunter would have tried to get, so I bet high on it.
Dude,
and then
I completely
neither of
forgot to try and get it.
We forgot. It's not that we tried and you won. It's
I know.
Like we forgot to show up, you know?
Debated.
You know, Cal bought the
Anyways,
tickets. We didn't show up to the movie. That's just how it is sometimes, you know? Like, that's how it is. I think that's going to do well. I think it's
so a
gonna do
running
well.
trend with my draft is that I haven't played the games in the series that I've picked up. I haven't played a Life is Strange game before, but people like them.
Yeah.
So I hope this one does just as good as the other ones.
It's by the Before the Storm team, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think the strongest narrative that Life is Strange has done is Life is Strange Before the Storm. So I think this has got the chance of being the best Life is Strange game. And I really hope it is, because after 2, I'm really needing that moment where I boot up Life is Strange again and go, oh, this is the shit. Like, get excited.
I believe that it will be really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's
I
just
do
a matter
too.
of like,
yeah,
like it still perplexes me that tell me why I got like an 81 as far as the critics go.
Yeah, I was
like
low.
I believe it should have been higher. So I feel like Life is Strange will potentially get lower than I would hope it would.
I hope not.
I hope not too. I hope it does well, because I like Life is Strange. This one looks fun.
Mm-hmm. And tell me why prove to me that I wasn't just fed up. Like, Life is Strange wasn't a one-hit wonder. I'm like, okay, if it's a good story, then I actually care about this. So
yeah,
I have faith. I have faith.
And what they've shown so far for the story stuff, it looks interesting.
Don't show any more, Square. I swear to God.
I swear
no
to
more.
God.
I will not watch another trailer, because knowing you guys,
can't make me.
I feel like you've already shown a bit too much, so don't show any more.
Honestly, I don't know what it's like. What are they gonna do? Put in another Square Enix Presents with Babylon's Fall that I don't want to watch?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, like
it'll show up in State of Play, and you'll be like, "Oh no, here we go." But yeah, I think that's a good pick. Far Cry 6, as much as I hate Far Cry as a franchise, I also think it's a solid
amount
pick.
Of points.
Yeah,
like
it'll get an 80 at least.
Because people have liked the Far Cry games critically, so
for some reason,
I don't know
never played them.
It feels like poo poo. Plays like poo poo, stories poo poo. No idea. Literally, it's just because they always get a famous actor or a good actor to play the villain. That's genuinely it. That is all they ever do. Is scary, threatening villain. I'm like, shame the gameplay doesn't back it up, because like Far Cry villains.
Who was the one
top
for
tier?
5?
Joseph Seed, who was this cult religious.
No,
person.
I'm like thinking of who's like the actor or whatever that you're supposed to like care about for that one.
There wasn't one, but Joseph Seed was just a good
one?
villain. Yeah, was just a really good villain. I really liked it. That's the one thing that got me through Far Cry 5 when I played it, was Joseph Seed is an interesting antagonist. And I mean, does anyone care about Far Cry spoilers here? Does anyone care?
No.
I'm never gonna play them.
I think it's very interesting fact. This is your spoiler warning for Far Cry 5. Mute for like 10 seconds. I find it very interesting that the antagonist wins. I think that is a very interesting concept, because the whole idea is he's predicting the apocalypse. He's like, join my cult and you'll be born anew in the new world or whatever. And he's predicting the apocalypse, and everyone's like, you're chatting shit. And then at the end, as they come to take him away, a fucking nuke drops and the whole fucking area just explodes, and he fucking drags you away. Man. Yeah, and you and him are the only two survivors in a bunk, and he drags you into his bunker, and he's going to brainwash you and do some weird shit to you. And then there was a spin-off that I didn't play because I was like, it's probably going to be shit. But there you go. It was a cool idea, but the game was shit. Anyway, it'll do well.
Yeah.
Moving on, Cal.
That's what it comes down to.
All right. So next game I snagged was Blaster Master 03. The original Blaster Master 0 game was a remake of an NES game called Blaster Master. It was done by like an indie. The remake was done by an indie team, and they went on to make 2 sequels. And Blaster Master 0 always seemed interesting to me. The game looks really fun. It's kind of like open exploration on like a 2D plane.
Mm.
So like a Metroidvania.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, it's probably about as good as I could have expected from it.
Yeah, it didn't have many reviews. In fact, it has 4 reviews.
Yeah.
It's getting in on the... Tell me what...
Emily is away.
Which is funny because it's got 2 9s and 2 7s, so it ended up with an 8. That's like...
Yeah.
Just the kind of... Math. Yeah. It's just the funny way. It's like very differing scores. So it's just like, we'll just meet you in the middle, I guess. There you go.
Anyway. But yeah, from like an indie company, like this is probably the best I could have expected.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be like a landmark indie game like Celeste or anything, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So then you've got 4 games that haven't come out yet.
correct. These two I picked up from the Nintendo E3, Mario
Mhm.
Party Superstars. I'm super fucking excited for this game. I think this is gonna do really well. It's old Mario Party boards and old Mario Party mini games all smashed into one big package, and we're finally getting back to traditional Mario Party. Everyone's gonna love it. There's online play, saves after every turn, so even if there's a disconnect, you can get right back in with your friends. Everything just looks so good about this game,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm super.
it just begs the
can't wait for
question:
this game to
how
come
will
out.
they
For the
fuck it
record-
up? That's the
So
thing.
for the record, review better or worse than Pokemon Snap?
It'll get a 79.
better
It'll
review,
get a
better.
79. They
If
added
it gets a
they,
79, I'm giving up.
Mario Party
I'm just
invented its
dropping
own
out.
form of rollback for party games, and it was like, nah, 79. Worse than Pokemon Snap. Get it in the bin. But no, I think it'll be decent. I think it'll get like an 82 or something, an 83 probably. That'd be my guess.
Definitely like low to mid 80s. I see
Mm-hmm.
happening. I think like 86 is probably going to be the cap.
Yeah, if we were at the start of the year, I'd say 86 sounds good. But with how strict reviews have been this year, where it's like the highest scoring game is an 88, I'm like,
I feel like generously it would be like 84.
yeah, I'm like, you're
The
looking
cap.
more at like 84 cap, because
Yeah.
even Nintendo points aren't going to get you past the 85 barrier, dude. Like, that's where they cap off. They're like, no extra points after the 85 barrier. But anyway,
So next I picked up Advanced Wars 1 and 2 reboot. Never played the original Advanced Wars, but people like them. So
solid pick. It's
Yeah,
way
I might pick
forward.
that
It'll
up
probably
when
do
it
well.
comes out, especially because December usually is dead.
yeah.
You know.
Also, really quick, I forgot to mention this with Mario Party. That was the game I sniped from Sam. I outbid him by $1.
Mhm.
Nice.
And I saw that and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad about this.
Mhm.
So, Sam,
we'll
if
get-
you're
we'll-
watching,
yeah.
I'm very sorry.
We'll get into all the counter bids in a little bit. Don't worry. We'll go through them all at the end.
So,
Mhm.
I just looked at the last 2 games on my list.
Yeah.
Here comes the part that undoes your score.
No, here comes the fun part.
Yeah, that's
This is where the fun begins.
Mm-hmm.
So, a few weeks ago, the 3 of us, we did a video that was like the recap of the year so far.
the games that are still coming.
Games that are still coming, that's right. And Hunter had pointed out a very interesting game
Yeah.
called Proto Corgi.
I've put it up on the screen, dude. I've put it up on the screen. Look. This is the game that Kyle has put.
I like how
this
so
game.
I like how
I've
more
looked
than
into
one
it.
of your
It is-
picks now have been motivated by me just mentioning something. Because that's why you got Skatebird too.
The dog literally shoots the letters BAR and K for bark, dude. Like, genuinely.
Oh man, 10 out of
Like,
10.
That's enough
This
of
is
that.
a bullet
Get it
hell
out.
game where you
Yeah.
play as a corgi swimming through space.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
they've
don't know
seen
what
it.
doesn't
I
sound
just showed.
fun about this.
I just showed
What's
the
not to
trailer.
love?
Yeah. They've seen it. They've seen more of that than they have any other game now, because I showed the trailer. I'll
At
be
this
interested
point,
to
like,
see where that
I just picked it
lands.
up as a joke pick because we're gonna get to it when we get to Ethan. Ethan is like try hard
He's definitely
so
going
hard
to
that there's no
win.
reason for anyone else to try at this point.
What do you
So-
mean?
so I'm
what
like, you know
do
what?
you mean? I have no clue what
You
you
know
mean.
what I mean.
We'll get to it.
So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So I picked up Proto Corgi, and
Mhm.
rounding off the picks so far, I also added Nickelodeon All Star Brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of as a joke, kind of as this could do numbers.
No,
I can see
no,
it
it
doing
could do numbers. Are you
72,
fucking?
maybe.
I can see it doing numbers.
Are you fucking stupid?
Look, dude.
I've
you can
never
play
right.
Reptar.
We can finally
You
talk
can
about
play as
this.
Reptar
We can
and the
finally talk
cart
about this
ones
in a
too,
good.
and those
yeah.
got under 70.
We can finally talk about this in this kind of setting. God, I have never seen Twitter be more dumb in my life than with this Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. I know it's cool and hip to hate on Smash Ultimate on Twitter, guys. I know it is. But the people that started saying, "Oh, look at Nickelodeon, it's the Smash Killer," were taking the piss, and then Smash fans went, "Yeah, it's gonna break it. I'm gonna main Jimmy Neutron's dad. Let's go!"
Yeah.
And it's like people genuinely now believe that this is gonna be good, and it's not.
The memes are fantastic, but this game's going to be like,
sorry, Jimbo, I
6 out
sent
of
you to
10.
the Shadow Realm.
Sorry. Oh man.
But no, it's like this game's gonna get like if you gain points, I'll be like, wow, good job, Kyle, good job, good pick. Doesn't matter. People hear the words. Why can't we
counter pick bids?
This year's gimmick word is rollback net. The rollback netcode is the gimmick term of the gaming world this year. Last year it was fucking ray tracing. This year it's rollback netcode because they're using this magic word as if to go, that's it. Every fighting game is good now, guys. Buy our product, rollback netcode. I'm like, no, you need a good game first and then implement rollback. Not just say rollback netcode and go, right, here's $60. Then I'll buy Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl. I'm sure it'll be
rollback netcode at the start of the podcast. Maybe we'll get more people to watch.
Yeah, maybe.
That has a tag in the video.
Rollback
right next to magic tricks.
Oh yeah, all the nerds like rollback netcode. This podcast must be excellent. Anyway,
it's like they're actually in the same room.
Yeah, you're the only person who. Yeah, you're. We didn't talk about Hunter's counter pick, but it's Lego Star Wars Lamau.
There was nothing to talk about there.
Yours
that game got delayed to nowhere.
Yours is Brilliant Diamond, which you're gonna lose points for this one.
I don't think I'm gonna lose many.
I hope not. Like,
I'm waiting to see this get an 85 and you cry. Like that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the December whatever, like before Christmas episode or whatever we do, and doing the roundup of who won, and you just sitting here going, "This is fucking bullshit." Like you're just gonna be like,
it's gonna be so annoying because there's no way that this remake of Pokemon is going to be better than Scarlet Nexus or Chris Tales.
No, but it gets the Pokemon points.
But it's going to get
or
like
the original.
Yeah, or that.
Look, I had a reason to grab this.
Yeah, you did.
Good job, Kyle.
See that? Thinking.
But there you go. I don't know. I feel like it might be your demise, Kyle. I think like that might be your demise. Not Proto Corgi, not Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl.
Yeah.
But can't pick that. Anyway, well,
hey, dude, my saving grace is that like 2 people are going to review Proto Corgi, and I won't even get any points for it.
No, you will get points for it. I will manually input them just for you. I can manually override scores, so I can manually input a.
Yeah, because
good.
Worried,
you want to fix Scarlet Nexus's score real quick?
No, because that's the legitimate score. I can only edit it if it doesnn't get a score on Open Critic. Unfortunately for you. We're going to run through Jack's really quickly because we're already like an hour into this podcast. Can you believe it? And we're not even down to my bit. And Jack's not got much to show for himself anyway.
Yes,
He's only... Yeah.
This is why I said start with this.
Yeah, we probably should have. Anyway, Hollow Knight Silk Song is not coming out. Kenna Bridge of Spirits is going to come out. Where do you think this is going to land? Because we genuinely haven't seen it since like forever. All we see is delays of this game. We don't see actual updates. We just see this game has been pushed. It got pushed again this week.
Like
I don't even remember anything about this game.
It's the Pixar-looking adventure game with the girl with the little black moss little creatures that look a bit like they're from the same house as the Minions. But
is that everything we know about the game?
Basically, yeah. But
nice.
It has nice animation.
It's like,
oh, good.
I can see it being anywhere from like an 80 to like an 85.
See, I can see this being a 70. I genuinely can see this being an Oddworld where people are like, oh, the animation's nice, but the gameplay, pee-pee, poo-poo, bye-bye, get in the bin. Sit with Oddworld, think about what you've done, it could be one of those. We'll get to Oddworld.
Give Jack another 1 point.
Yeah, we'll get to Oddworld in a second. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Skywalker Saga, does anyone think this is coming out this year?
Dude. It got delayed to nowhere.
It genuinely got delayed to nowhere.
It's funny that I picked it because it was like I thought Oddworld was going to get higher than it did. So I was like, okay, there's no way Lego Star Wars is going to hurt me much.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked it. I didn't think I was going to be fortunate enough to not take any points from it. So that's lovely.
But hey, there you go. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl will come out. Like I said, we talked about it a bit. I think it's going to get higher than Cal wants it to, and I can't wait to see Cal's reaction in December because it'll be a really funny moment.
We kind of skipped over his one solid pick here with Returnal. I feel like we should
yeah,
give him credit there because Returnal's a good game. I played it. I liked it a lot. Go watch my review.
Yeah, please keep watching that review. If you've watched it before, watch it again, because I just like seeing that number go up, and then I can't wait for the Ratchet review to come out and get 20 views, and I'll be like, yes, there we go, stonks. It'll be great. But no, Returnal was a great pick.
Just get Hunter to narrate it.
I don't think that's how it worked. I think it was.
I think that's the winning combination. I made like 6
it's
other
Hunter's
reviews.
narration and Ethan's editing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And my motivation.
Yeah,
power.
Yeah,
encouragement.
Hunter's deeper voice makes him sound smarter. That's the thing. It's like
it's true.
Ratchet and Clank Rift
like
Apart.
A posh British accent, though.
I don't have a posh British accent.
Yeah,
I have a
mid.
I just have like a. How do I? Right. Okay. I
don't know. I don't think my voice being lower makes me sound smarter.
I'm 2 steps away from saying in it, mate. Like, what the fuck? How the hell am I posh?
I'm 2 steps away from whooping at people.
Whenever people hear my voice, they don't go, "Oh, he sounds awful. He sounds awfully posh." It's, "Hey, look at you. You're British, innit? Fish and chips. Am I right? Way, we love you, British people. You sound like this all the time. You do. Cool, blimey, governor. Am I right? Way. No, fuck off."
We found the bumper for the episode.
We have like 7 bumpers.
We genuinely have like 6 million. If we do end up doing the post show, be it like another episode, we'll just put a bumper from earlier as the thing. It'll be fine.
Bumper compilation as the bonus episode. Who cares?
Oh,
that would be
100%.
That would be a great season wrap up.
Yeah,
it would be.
It would.
Bumper compilation.
Oh, we're 100% next year when we get to the 2-year anniversary. We're 100% doing like a best bits like compilation. We'll put more effort in next year. We'll also do like some kind of awards and stuff. We'll have you guys vote on like what the best intro bumper is and stuff like that. We'll do some fun stuff next year instead of just showing up and going, "Aren't we great?" for an hour. But anyway, yeah, Returnal honestly was a really solid pick. I don't think anyone saw it doing as well as that. So
I thought it was gonna do.
Oh yeah,
like I wanted to pick it, I just didn't get the chance to before he swiped.
See, I didn't. I had the chance, and I was like, I just don't.
I was like, Housemarque is good at what they do, and this has
I was like indie studio. So. I was like indie studio, going from twin stick to big game. I'm like, I don't know if it work, and it worked great.
The most irritating thing is that this was a game I believed in, and it would have been great for me to pick. And every other game I've believed in is like stomped on my throat.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. Stray will not release. Unlucky Jen. Oddworld Soulstorm.
It's funny that he picked it off of like one trailer that I don't feel like showed very much of it, and now like they showed a little bit more of it. I'm like, oh, that might have been good if it was
probably would get a good score. It's a shame it's not coming out. Oddworld Soulstorm. Fuck me, what a train wreck.
This was so fun to watch in real time.
Poor dude.
Legit, for like a week, it was fluctuating between gaining and losing like 3 points for him.
Well, the thing was, what was funnier was it didn't like start at 72. It started at like 80 odd. It started high, and Jack was like, "Hey, finally a break," and then it just went tick, 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 down, 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 bit up again, down, down. And honestly, man, like we got Sam to play it a little bit of it because we couldn't be bothered, and Sam was like, "Oh, is that the plus game?" I'm like, "Yeah, you should play it. Let me know how it is."
Oh, it is the plus game.
And that's why he didn't talk to us ever again.
That's what did it.
Yeah, that's what did it.
You know why the band broke
But he said,
up.
but then he said it was fine at least, and I was like, it was one of those games where it came out really buggy. It was like not ready to be released, and I kind of feel bad for the Oddworld team in a weird way because I'm like, will they make another game after this? Because this one did so bad. Like,
it sucks that like apparently it didn't hit because it seemed like a project of like care and passion.
They've been working on this thing since like 2016, I think 2015. It was a long development cycle.
I feel like I heard about this game for so long.
It was one of those.
Like,
it was one of those.
It wasn't already out.
It was like one of those slow burns. It was one of those slow burns where it was like Lorne told Kadikarus or something the name of it in like 6 years before it came out, and then they made a website and they showed a JPEG, and then they showed a GIF, and then they showed a teaser trailer, and then they showed a teaser to the main trailer, and then they showed 6 main trailers at every PlayStation showcase, and then it came out 5 years after we'd heard about it. But man, what a fucking low, dude. And I remember when Sam counterpicked it, and I was like, I don't know, man. I feel like that's a bad counterpick. It was a great counterpick. Genuinely.
It was a good counter. Like, it was a weird one because it was like if I didn't pick, I think Sam went before me for the counter picks. No, he didn't because he won.
No, he went last, didn't he? I went first.
Yeah.
I went first and was an idiot and picked Ghostwire first instead of picking something like that. But okay.
Yeah, so I picked Star Wars, but like Oddworld would have been one of the other ones I was thinking about. It's just a matter of like I didn't know how many people would review it and how many people who did review it would have been like Oddworld fans.
That's what I thought. I thought everyone that would review it was an Oddworld fan, but because it was a plus game, I think everyone just reviewed it. Anyone and everyone reviewed it, and then it just got torn to shit, which is a shame.
Yeah, I feel like it being a plus game really hurt Jack in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But
at the same time, I think it helps them because I don't know how many sales it would have got if it had this score and then didn't get the PlayStation Plus money. I added it to my library, so you got some money from me at least, Oddworld, for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I tagged it.
Well, there you go. High five on to saving developers. Let's go. Giving them the plus.
That's what I'll do. If I play it years from now and really like it, I'll buy it for my friends too. That's what I do.
It's like me. Yeah, it was like me with Persona when I bought it for like £5, and then I was like, no, I'll just buy another 6 copies because I feel bad about getting it for so cheap. I'm like, if people like a game, they'll buy it, guys. Trust me, they'll buy multiple things. They'll support you even more.
They'll buy it. They'll buy it again.
They'll buy it again.
Other people.
Yeah, he's buying us all Hades. Get ready, guys. Get ready for the great Hades podcast, which will be sponsored by Hunter.
Not
game,
Supergiant.
Not Supergiant. Hey, call us. We'll take 2. We'll take 3 copies of the game. We'll take that, and that can count as sponsored by. In fact, just say that you want to sponsor us. You can give us nothing, and Hunter will buy the copies, and we'll still say it. We'll be happy.
It's true. If Supergiant wants me to sell out, done.
What's that, Supergiant? You want me to take the shirt off? Done. Like, let me just.
Yeah, basically.
You want my phone? Okay, have it. Like, no. Anyway,
my right arm is the cost to play Transistor now. Fair's fair. Okay, that was fun.
Okay. Anyway, Shovel Knight Dig. Fucking weird choice.
I don't know why you picked that, but okay. Is that even coming out anymore?
It doesn't have a date.
It never did have a date.
Never did have a date. 2021.
Like Sam and Jack, it sucks that they're not here, but Jack's the one that I wanted here more because of just questioning this fucking logic. Like, honestly. Like, I can't wait to get to December and go, so Jack, we know when it went wrong. It was day 1. Why did you have this mindset? You know, like, it's crazy. Humankind as well, I think still has a release date. Yeah, August 17th.
It's supposed to come out like soon.
Rainbow Six Extraction. Who would have thought that Tom Clancy got delayed? Ubisoft delaying a video game? What's wrong with them? Are they ill?
Oh, man. Yeah, I know,
Last time they did that, it was because they had too many games, not because they wanted quality out. Like,
I know. It's weird.
Anyway. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I actually, if that game comes out this year, that's a good pick. Because that's the kind of game.
I could get like.
It's the kind of game that the retro nerds will get all excited about, and they'll be like, "It's my nostalgia. Let's give it a 90," and it'll be.
Oh God.
And WarioWare, I think WarioWare will get like an 80. I think it'll be fine.
Probably like an 80.
Although
I've played.
I don't find this new idea appealing with the 2 characters on the screen. I think that it's a bit weird. It's not gimmicky enough. It's not. Why aren't I whacking Joy-Cons everywhere? Yeah, like Why
isn't Wario milking a cow?
Yeah, why aren't I? This 1-2 switch should have been WarioWare. Like, eat the sandwich. Yeah. No, I'm like, eat the sandwich. Milk the cow with the Joy-Con. Like this.
This is weird how they're always like, let's make a strangely generic launch game when you could just throw some IP on it and call it like a spin-off.
Can't believe we never got 3-4 Switch, to be honest.
3-4 Switch.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the direct.
That'll be for the Super Nintendo Switch.
I'm still laughing. I'm still waiting. We're waiting to this point where we're gonna get a direct next year and ARMS 2's announced and everyone fucking cries and I'll laugh and I'll be like, sign me up, let's go. I loved ARMS. It was great. It was great.
I never
everyone
picked up
slept
ARMS,
on it. Everyone slept on ARMS. Genuinely, everybody slept on ARMS. It was so good. If more people had played ARMS,
Like,
it was so good.
It's funny how people, like, if ARMS 2 does get announced, people are gonna boo, but then also these same people are like, why is it always just Mario and Zelda? Like,
Exactly.
how dare Nintendo support a new IP that
Well,
isn't
you saw the
now,
Splatoon
right?
3 reaction.
Yeah,
You
right?
saw this. You saw Nintendo's biggest franchise in Japan, other than Animal Crossing, which is Splatoon, and they made another one, and they went, "The bastards! How dare they make another one of those games that make them
Wait,
more
did
money?"
people get mad at the Splatoon 3?
Yes, they were pissed.
Yeah, because they were like,
why?
Because it wasn't what
Why
they
is
wanted to
it?
see.
Yeah, it's like, why is it more than one Splatoon per console? We've made this bollocks rule up where every game only gets one installment on a console, and this is bullshit. Where's Mario Kart 9, Nintendo? Please bring us next year, please.
No, Mario Kart 9's not real.
Please,
It can't
Nintendo.
hurt you.
I can't play.
That game's not gonna happen.
Don't make me play Wild Ones again, Nintendo. Please.
That doesn't exist.
Please.
As long as people keep buying Mario Kart 8, and I don't know who's left in the world to still buy that video game besides me and Hunter.
Yeah,
I'm interested in seeing.
I'm not gonna either.
I'm interested in seeing if they ever overtake, if Animal Crossing ever gets to the point now, because it's interesting. Because Animal Crossing continues to keep selling, and Mario Kart is slowing down. I'm like, will Animal Crossing overtake it? Is that what it takes? Is getting a new Mario Kart? Is that what it takes? Is having another game surpass it, so then Animal Crossing doesn't get made ever again, and now Mario Kart gets a new game? Is that how it works?
And then go buy your friends some copies of Animal Crossing.
I still don't have my own physical copy. I have the damn special edition. Edition Switch. Ah, there it is. I have the damn special edition of Switch that came with a download code. I don't have a physical copy of New Horizons. I need to get one, but obviously, because I don't have income, because I am a terrible human being, apparently. Because I don't have income, I still haven't got one that I've been meaning to get for like a year. So I'm just like, maybe one day I'll have a copy of Animal Crossing. It can go along with my copy of Pokemon Sword that I don't own either.
Do you want my copy of Sword?
Yes, send it over. In fact, no, because
cool.
your American spines on Switch games start from the top, whereas ours are centered.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, weird differences because of course Nintendo. Of course.
That's weird.
Yeah. Is it show and tell?
Well, sorry for being American.
Yeah, is it show and tell time? Look.
In America.
See, centered, not at the top. There you go. There's your example.
That's weird.
Yeah, of course it was Xenoblade that got picked by random. Well, of course. Anyway.
Good.
It's onto your list
and then,
now, Ethan.
Disgaea 6. Oh, right. Well, one thing I'm going to say is, if I've learned anything for next year, is I'm going to piss about more next year. Because, especially with a year like 2021, I played the hardball, and with no other games coming out, there was literally no room for error. So I've just kind of fucking ran
away.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
it's to lose.
It's very unlikely for me to lose at this point, I feel, especially with the games I have upcoming, because but I will say there are some smart picks on here. I'm not tooting my own horn. There are some smart picks. It's not just all obvious shit. There is some obvious stuff on there, but there's some stuff that also people were dumb about, like Lost Judgment. We'll get to Lost Judgment in the end.
Right.
But anyway, Resident Evil Village, first game that I picked, got about what I thought it would get, to be honest. I think it did respectable. 84. I was expecting it to get a tiny bit higher, to be honest, but it didn't. So there you go. Hunter, do you think 84 is respectable?
I did play this game.
You did?
Yeah, 84 is around. It seems right to me. Like, I wouldn't expect it to be like, I think the remake it to back in 88. Which it's not as good as that. So yeah, I think 84 is about right.
Okay, awesome. Monster Hunter Rise, which everyone was in, like, I did. This wasn't even my second pick, because I picked Gran Turismo before this. Gran Turismo was my second pick. So I gave everyone another chance to fucking go and get this, and then I picked it up.
And Sam nearly did.
And to be fair, I was an idiot. I was an idiot for not picking it earlier, and you're all idiots for not picking it. I had mine
lower on my list,
because when Monster Hunter games always slap, they genuinely always slap. Monster Hunter World was a Game of the Year nominee. So why none of us picked this up sooner, I think, is very strange. But hey, I did, and I got 88. And the little game that could, I am so proud of this fucking game,
dude.
I am so proud of this.
If you told me at the beginning of the year that this would be like the best thing rated with Monster Hunter here, I would have probably been like, okay.
Yeah, if we had started at January and gone, what do you think the game of the year noms will be? I don't think anyone would have said It Takes Two, and I think it will get a game of the year nod at this point. Like, honestly, which is crazy, but I'm proud of myself for going with it because I nearly went with 12 minutes instead. And I'm glad that I went with It Takes Two. Because, man, what a game. And I'm kind of sad that I haven't played it. But it's also one of those weird games where A Way Out, which was the game before, it was about two guys in prison, right? So it's like you can play that with anybody. It Takes Two is this weird rom-com about a relationship going shit, and I feel like it's made for couples and people like that, and I feel like it'd be very weird if it's like, yo, bro, you want to play this game about a divorce and us falling back in love? Let's do it, bro. Let's play it.
Dude, we should remote play that together.
Can you imagine? Could you imagine? We'll do it for next Valentine's Day, dude. We'll be like, let's go, dude. Bros play like It Takes Two. But you know what I mean? It seems like it's like kind of a couples kind of game, or playing with a significant other.
I liked Unravel.
Yeah, kind of one of those.
And I waited to play 2 until like my brother was like, hey, co-op game, and I was like, okay.
So
sure.
I want to play it, and I'm sure it's great. And I believe it deserved a score because I don't think anyone saw this coming. There was no hype behind it. I don't think Joseph Fares paid anyone off for this, but everyone loves Joseph Fares anyway. And
honestly, he did reverse psychology,
and I can't wait for him.
If you don't like it, I will give you money because I don't believe you.
Yeah, and I think I can't wait for him. I hope he wins. Honestly, like I don't think it will, but I would love for it to win Game of the Year because I just want to see a Joseph Fares acceptance speech at the Game Awards. That's genuinely what I want. That is all I want in life. That is genuinely all I want in life.
Even if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it could win some sort of category, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It will. It'll 100%. I think it'll win a category, probably. I don't know which one, but you think it'd at least win, like... No clue. We'll find. I don't remember what Game of the Year categories are, because they're either very vague or very specific, and I don't remember what's what.
Don't worry. When we get to that episode, it's going to be perfect slate between the two of us this year.
Yeah, exactly. Shin Megami Tensei 5 was a risky pick, but somehow it's one of the only games that might make it. I still think this game has a 100% chance of being delayed. I 100% think this game can still get delayed.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I think you're okay.
But I think it's going to make it.
I think it's going to make it.
Especially, and I know this sounds stupid because obviously Atlas, different teams, different studios, different platforms. I feel like next year, at the very least, they're going to want to focus more on Persona, because they've kind of already suggested that that's their intention, because they're doing this whole year of Persona drum roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if they're not releasing Persona games, which they will release Persona games next year, they'll release some spin-off, dude. We'll get another dancing game or something. I feel like they want to get Shin Megami Tensei 5 out now, not because they want to push it and get it out of the way of Persona, but so that it has its time to shine and it doesn't get engulfed in all this Persona news and all this other stuff, and so that the Shin Megami Tensei fans don't get angry again when people think about Persona. And you know what happens when that that happens. Yeah
just apparently no one can have fun.
Someone thinks of Persona and an SMT fan's already there shaking their fist going, damn you.
How do you think,
like, guys, they're different games, I swear.
How do I think it's going to review? I think it's going to get less than Persona.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mean Persona 5. I mean Persona as a franchise. I think it'll be like a 84, maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be my guess.
I think it'll be good, but it seemed like the general takeaway from a lot of other people after its showing last time was mixed. Which,
Here's my problem with SMT, and I'm sorry, SMT fans, because I know SMT is a very gameplay-heavy franchise. It's very much built on being difficult, get good at the game. The gameplay is the game. Like, that's what you're here for. You're here to have challenging boss fights. You're here to basically become a god, is like the essential thing of it for its gameplay. And the story kind of always takes a backseat. There is good story in SMT. I'm not saying that. Don't kill me, SMT fans. But in comparison to Persona, which is half RPG, half visual novel, where the story is very much forefront and in some cases more important than the gameplay, because the game basically goes, no gameplay for 8 hours. You're watching cutscenes, bitch. It's story time. As it pats you on the head and it goes, no gameplay for you.
Go get your popcorn.
Go get your popcorn. It's 2-hour movie time. SMT is very much, there's a story there and it's good, but we're here for the gameplay. You're here for the hard bosses. That's what you're here for because this is SMT. And I feel like reviewers will be like, this game's hard. I struggled, and I'm going to give it an 80 because I respect it, but it's a bit too hard, and I think that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's too hard, and it's not Dark Souls, so it's not getting.
And it doesn't have the story of
it
doesn't have the story of a Persona game. I'm like, because it's not Persona, you dumb fucks. But I think it's going to score like an 84. That's my guess, lower than Persona. But I hope it does well. And I'm probably going to buy the game just because I want to support SMT, because I feel bad for SMT fans in a way. Because I feel like, especially with... It must suck loving a franchise and having its spin-off become the fucking darling child that everyone looks at. I get that. It must fucking suck. It's, you know, like... Because you're like, oh, but I love the original. And yeah, it's cool that Persona's shining and people like it, but I get it, right? And I want... It's support. I don't want them to think, oh no, once SMT, we're just going to make Persona for the rest of our lives and fuck it off. Like, but at the same time, especially because it is on Switch, I feel like that's the limiting factor. I wish it was on a different hardware because, man, I struggle to play Switch games now, unless they're made by Nintendo, because most of the time they just run terribly. And it's not a fault necessarily of the developer, but it's like, especially with these next-gen consoles. If the next-gen consoles have done anything, it's not made me go, wow, this is next-gen. It's made me go, wow, Switch runs like shit. Like, that's what it's made me do. It's not made me go, oh, great. Switch is not as fun as it was. But I hope it does well. Halo Infinite, it will come out this year. They're doing their beta right now for the multiplayer, so it's coming out. The reason I don't think it's dated is because my next one, which is Call of Duty, also hasn't been dated. I think that one's waiting for the other. I think Halo is waiting so that they know which week of November that they go for, so that Halo goes for another week so that they don't step on each other. That's the only reason. And I think that'll do, and it'll get an 80 at least. Halo 5, which people consider the worst Halo, got like an 85. So
oh, wow.
I feel like, in fact, I'm gonna double check that. I think it was an 85.
So
but I don't want to get it
one
wrong.
thing that kind of occurred to me, and I don't know if this will affect like what this will do to reviews, but the fact that the multiplayer is like its own separate free-to-play thing. What do you think that's gonna do if like the campaign is mediocre? Like, how do you think that's gonna affect the reviews?
It depends on how people are reviewing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like it's hard to know. Like, do you think they're gonna review the multiplayer separately?
I think what they're gonna do is they're going to do a combined score, which they did it for. The best comparison I can have, it was an 84, not an 85. My apologies, Halo 5. Close enough for a guess. But I think it's going to do what? My closest example is Black Ops 4 that didn't have a campaign. It had multiplayer, Battle Royale, and Zombies, and those were three varying things where you couldn't give a single score to all of it because they were basically three separate games that were packaged into one. So they did most outlets did three separate scores, combined it for a product. It was essentially what they did. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Halo 5 campaign score, a Halo 5 multiplayer score, and bundle it together. That's probably my guess. However, I feel like the campaign score will be more critical because you're paying $60 for, or $70 even, it might be, for just the campaign because the multiplayer is free. That's my thing, is how are they going to justify only a campaign? I can see how COD justified not having a campaign, and charging people $60 because most people play the multiplayer. But it's going to be very interesting for Xbox to justify a $60 price tag for Halo Infinite when the multiplayer, which is the thing that most people want to play in Halo, is free.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to be interesting for people that have paid $60. How are they going to feel about like a free-to-play market of a multiplayer game? Are they going to feel robbed? Are they going to be like, hang on, I paid $60 for Halo Infinite, but I still have to do all the grind that the free-to-play people do, and I still have the microtransactions? Like, it's going to be a balance. I don't know how it's going to be handled, but we'll see. COD, it will release. It will get a score. I don't give a shit because fuck Activision. Yeah, Activision can fuck off. I literally don't care. It can get a 60, and to be honest, I'd probably be happier because if I'm losing points, who gives a shit? Because Activision sucks.
Yeah, you've got a cushion. You'll be
alright.
You can afford that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Monster Hunter Stories did pretty decent, 81. I'll give it that. I was expecting fair play. Yeah, so that's that. Then we got a bunch of releases that are yet to come. Nobody Saves the World said coming soonish, like 4 months ago. Don't know if that's coming out.
Yeah, it said coming soon when I first heard about it, and I've heard nothing about it since.
Yeah, same. If it is, smart pick. If not, fuck.
Yeah, if not, well, that would be
Battlefield 2042.
factory.
Battlefield 2042 was 100% a game that I picked up in March because I was like, oh, I'm gonna need some scores because I kept losing games like Gran Turismo and Forza. So I was like, I'm gonna need scores. I think it'll do fine. That game doesn't have a campaign, so again, it'll be the Call of Duty thing again.
Doesn't have a campaign.
How will it do?
Boy.
Let's find out. It looks decent though. They spent a lot of time on it.
People seem to be like jazzed about this one.
Yeah, it's because it's returning to modern warfare. Yeah, I mean, it's technically in the future. It's in 2042, but the last modern Battlefield game. Yeah, the last Battlefield game with like helicopters and jets and parachuting and skyscrapers and all that jazz was Battlefield 4 in 2013. People have been waiting 8 years for a modern Battlefield game. I'm not counting Battlefield Hardline because no one liked that one. But like the past two Battlefield games were World War 1 and World War 2. So I assume people are jazzed because they're like, finally, I grew up on Battlefield 3 and 4 and I'm finally getting a game like that again. And it looks cool. There's like 160 player battles or something ridiculous. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. An actual Battlefield. Wow. Only took 2042 releases apparently to get that as a feature. Forza 5. Shall we talk about counterpicks here? Sam tried to steal this from me because obviously I had Forza Motorsport 5 on my list, not Forza Horizon. Yeah. So I had to redouble down for this. This is where most of my money went. I spent a lot. Let's go on.
You spent like $35 on it.
Yeah, let's go to League History. You spent $10 on Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl, you fucking idiot. You paid money for that, Kyle. You paid money for Nickelodeon.
Ethan, weren't you getting to a point?
No.
Okay.
Here
Just
we go.
Checking.
Forza Horizon 5, here we go. So I had to drop the game. Where's Sam's bid? Yeah, Sam bid $11 to try and get Forza Horizon 5. He thought I'd bid 10 and he upped me 1, he thought. But little did he know that I was that confident that I wanted this that I put $35 on it. And for those of you who wanted proof of Sam getting destroyed by Mario Party Superstars, there it is. Acquired game for $7. Sam failed with 6. So there you go. Now you know. Anyway, back to the actual draft. Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, the reason I paid so much is because these games fucking slap. This is going to get like a 90.
Yeah.
Like, this will be the highest scoring game of the year by far because they always do get really high scores.
It's hilarious to think that the highest scoring game of the year is going to be a car game because all the other big things aren't going to hit.
Yeah, it's just funny that I had 2 car games at the start of this, and now halfway through the year.
The comedy would be if this one somehow got delayed too.
There's still 5 months.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one because it's like, yeah, started this with 2 drive racing games, ending it with halfway through got 1 racing game, and it's a different racing game to the 2 that I had at the start, and now it's like, oh, let's see how it goes. So that was interesting. Diablo 2, again, I feel like I'm cheating the system like Kyle did with Nier. It's more of a remaster than anything, but at the same time, it's Blizzard, so fuck off. Get a 60. Watch me care.
Get a 60.
I'm not dropping it because I don't want anyone else picking it up. I'll just take the burn, dude. I'll take the burn. And also, I feel like it's against the rules at this point because I can't drop blocked ones.
Yeah, I don't think you can drop it.
Yeah, I was like, I could ethically forcefully drop it, but I'm like, it seems like a shit thing because I wouldn't make someone else forcefully drop it if it was someone else. So it's like, but at the same time, hope it does shit. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy I picked up for E3 hype. It'll get like a 78 probably.
I could see it getting like an 81 or something.
Maybe. Death's Door got an 87. What a pick, dude. What a pick.
Ah, dude. I wanted it.
Yeah, well, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. You're too slow. You're too slow. Did you bid for it?
No. I thought that would have slid under the radar.
Because I thought you did, and I bet like $10 on it. Because I was like, I bet you are.
Or well, no, I bid for it. I just didn't bid money for it. Was the thing. Like,
yeah.
I figured it was gonna slide under the radar, so I was like,
I was like, yeah. This was one of the games where I was like, I know Hunter's bidding for this. I'm putting the money on it. Which next year, I think we're gonna change the rules next year so that you have to put money on it.
All right.
because the amount of zeros that have happened, I feel like there's no stakes if you can just go, oh yeah, I can just bet for anything and get zeros.
If it wasn't 0, it would be 1 with a lot of these.
Yeah. But then you're losing something, you know. There's at least a bit of risk because some people are sitting on bundles of money over here and just got a load of like Sam, literally, other than one game that he bought for $11, got all the rest of his picks afterwards.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, a lot of these have bit me in the terms of taking up a slot and not paying off in points.
Yeah, but I feel like next year at least it'll probably be $1 minimum, just so you're at least it's losing a bit of budget, especially because next year is going to be a big year apparently if everything doesn't get delayed to 2023.
Yeah.
Then finally, Lost Judgment, which was a game that I forgot was released. Sam forgot was releasing, and he's a fan of the Yakuza franchise, and everyone else forgot because I picked this up late for nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone just forgot it was coming out, and it's coming out soonish, 24th of September. So there you go.
This might have been another scenario of me also thinking it was like one of those weird like PlayStation 5 upgrades that they're naming something stupid.
Oh, Lost Judgment. Could you imagine? It's the Lost version. It's the better version. It's the version
like
we found under the couch that's made for PS5. What a riot, guys. Have fun.
Yeah, like the integrate thing.
Yeah.
Director's cuts.
Yeah.
You know?
But there you go. It's an interesting 6-month part. Like I say, I'll be surprised if I haven't, but if there's one thing I've learned so far, it's next year. I'm going more on the wacky. I'll take the first dub, and then I'll basically come last every other year we do this, because I'll just piss about and pick really dumb stuff. But hey, that's my thing anyway. Do you guys have any feedback 6 months in? What regrets, things that you wish you'd done differently?
You should pick the silly games because it makes your draft look a lot more fun.
Well, you know, I named my publisher after EA, so it looks like I did an EA job, you know, where I was like, only good games, no fun allowed, and the only fun allowed is the EA original. It Takes Two. That's the only fun allowed. Everything else,
you've got Death's Door. That's
true.
Probably a fun game.
But no, I meant not bashing me, Kyle. I meant, do you have any feedback for your own performance? Not just, Ethan, stop taking it seriously. If anything, I should say you guys should take it more seriously. Fuck you.
Yeah, if I wanted to,
fuck you.
Like, I could probably, if I cared about winning, choose different games, but also, I would like to not do that because I don't want to pick games that I would never play.
God damn it.
I'll take it seriously when there's actual stakes.
Well, what stakes now? I mean, Jack's going to come last anyway, like so it's just like punishing Jack.
Yeah,
it's too late to come up
retroactively punish Jack.
Next year we'll have stakes, okay? Next year we'll have budgets. We'll have minimum spend $1, so the budgets actually matter, and we'll have stakes. Will that be better? Will you try more then next year?
Like, I liked the idea of whoever loses has to play the worst reviewed thing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's too fucking easy, you know? Like, why don't you let us know if you've made it this far in the video? I'm going to switch back to the main view. Skadoosh. There we go. Wow, what a riot. But, you know, if you guys have listened this far, if you give us some ideas for next year of what we can do differently, what forfeits we can have, any ways to spice it up, just to make these guys try a little harder, you know? Because I'm not seeing enough movement, especially from Sam. Sam hasn't changed his fucking status in like 6 million years.
Yeah. He set his roster in February, and he's like, "This is perfect."
But no, any critiques, any recommendations on how we can improve this next year? Please let us know. I know we're only halfway through, but hey, we might as well, because the second half of the year is the more boring half, where we just wait to see what happens with the rest of the lineup.
That's true.
We will do an update though later in the year, and we are definitely not talking about the games we played this week because it's an hour and 43 minutes of an episode already.
Oh man, bonus episode, baby.
Yeah, we'll come back with we'll either come back or we'll do that next week. We'll decide. Do we have a topic for next week? I don't think we do.
I don't know.
We barely had a topic for this week,
but we managed to get a big boy.
Hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah, we got a big boy.
I mean, barely in terms of an idea. I learned about this topic like 2 hours ago.
What's new? We always learn about the topic an hour before. But yeah, there you go. Those are the games that have come out, that are coming out. And hey, if you want to tweet at us discreetly any secret picks we might have missed, Tweet it at them because I don't need any more help
Tweet it to
apparently.
Ethan.
Yeah. Or do it. I have 2 free slots, and if I'm ready for, I'll get ready to go for a full steamroll. But no, send them our way. But with that, our links are on screen now.
All right, Ethan, you want to pick up Riders Republic?
I'm good, Chief. I'm good. Is that coming out this year?
It got pushed out of its slot, but it's still within the year. So
and no one's picked that up.
I don't want it.
Someone should pick that up.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a motor. It's like an extreme sports.
It's like an extreme sports
game.
Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
Like,
it's not
like
going to get
given...
lower than a 70, Kyle. If you want points, okay, fine.
Yeah, Kyle, you could get it and get points if that's all you.
Hunter's
care about.
got his ethics or some bollocks.
Yeah,
I've got towards Ubisoft.
I don't care about. I don't want to get something that I wouldn't play myself.
But anyway, there you go.
See, I respect Hunter's way of play.
Yeah, sure you do.
You should be more like Hunter.
No. No, I'm gonna flex to our small community of being the biggest
Or be
brain.
like Sam and just make your roster in February.
Fuck off. It would have been fun. Yeah, but if Sam was gonna do this, it would have been smarter to have filled out his entire roster for the year and then just fucked off and gone, let's trust in the faith, like have faith that these games come out and I'll see you in December. But
I mean, his faith worked.
I mean, I've thought about just kind of dart throwing my last 3, but I've decided against it.
Hey, but there you go. As always, if you want to keep up to date with everything HGO, you can follow us on Twitter at HotGamersOnly. You can follow us on, you can subscribe to us rather, on both of the YouTube channels, youtube.com/HotGamersOnly. And if you want to find us on your favourite podcast services instead of looking at our stupid faces every week, you can find us on them by going to the link tree in the description where you can find us on your favourite podcast services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, etc., etc. But yeah, with that has been a very long episode. My throat is dead. We're not recording the bonus episode right after because my throat's dead. But
everyone take 5.
Everyone take 5 and relax. But we'll be back same time, same place next week if we don't do a bonus episode for more. But hey, until we next see you, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.